Finding a new water source for the county is a big, expensive job ahead. So making the most out of what we have now is a more immediate obligation. And so far, Santa Cruz County residents are getting high marks for conservation.
Now that water is in short supply, it has a rising value. The reduction in water use means less money collected, a cost to the city of Santa Cruz of $4 million on the bottom line this year. And conservation is here to stay, so using our water supply more than once is a great idea. Scotts Valley's award-winning wastewater plant shows us how it's done. Last year, in a zero rainfall month, it delivered almost 11 million gallons of irrigation water to the city.
During the summertime, we can process up to 500,000 gallons and use approximately 300 to 400,000 of that to irrigate the city. Goes to the football fields, the Sky Park, soccer fields, the high school, some residences, some businesses. For irrigation, it works great.
Raw sewage enters here, and everything that we flushed away has to be separated. The worst of it goes to the garbage dump. But most of the mixture becomes a meal for tiny organisms, bacteria called bugs. The bug workforce means that this concrete and steel plant is actually quite organic. A series of tanks, constant stirring, and aeration process the wastewater as the bugs work around the clock, and water quality continues to improve over a 10-day stay here. When quality meets the standards, the water is pumped back up to a large tank above the high school area. Some months, some chlorine purification is added, and treated water is piped 7 miles down to Santa Cruz and out into the Pacific. The treated wastewater, perfectly fine for irrigation, is sold for 80% the price of clean water. Finally, the sludge waste, drained of water, is trucked to the regional wastewater facility in Marina to help break down the landfill's refuse. 20,000 pounds a day, 5 days a week. Wastewater, or gray water, is in vogue in 2014. Scotts Valley Water District's offices pulled up the lawn and held a contest for a water-wise makeover.
Whoever could come up with the best water-saving devices for the new landscape actually would get the contract to build it. This garden's broken up into 4 different areas, and so this one loosely represents wildland meadow. And so we have some grasses and we have some wildflowers. All of these plants being native, they flower, except for the grasses, they all flower, and they give year-round interest, and they don't take much water. As a matter of fact, on a day like today, we could pretty much turn off the irrigation safely. Right. What's interesting about this next area is it emulates a riparian corridor, which is just a word for a creek. And so what we have here is plants that would grow underneath a shade canopy of trees. And what we've done is we've captured all of the downspout water and we bring it into this creek, and underneath it, it has some permeable fabric and some more gravel, so that the water, as it works its way down to the bottom, it dissipates into the mounds on the sides and waters the plant material that way. These are a unique kind of paver because they're actually permeable themselves. And so this kind of paver, rather than have spaces in between that capture the water, the surface itself actually captures the water, and it goes right into the aquifer and charges the groundwater that way.
Sherry Lee Bryan lives water conservation, driving the program for local environmental nonprofit Ecology Action.
A lot of people don't understand the difference between gray water and rainwater, and it's really important that folks really get that they're 2 different water sources that come from different places. The things that you can do with rainwater include storing it and using it for landscape irrigation or for indoor uses such as toilet flushing and clothes washing. Gray water is dirty water that is coming from a shower, a bathtub, a washing machine, or a bathroom sink. And gray water is gray for a reason. It has nasty, funky stuff, skin cells from our bodies, products that we wash off, hair, lint. Gray water cannot be stored, and gray water is best suited for landscape irrigation. Gray water is really nice because it costs less than rainwater to use in the landscape for most simple low-tech systems, and you always know how much gray water you're going to produce every week. You always do the same, probably loads of laundry, and you're always going to be washing your hands the same way or taking the same kinds of showering. So with gray water, you can actually size your landscape water needs to your gray water production, and you have a consistent source of water all season long.
At our local water agencies, teaching customers about conservation and retrofitting their systems, even offering rebates for compliance, is now the #1 sales job.
Even though it's been very dry this year and last year, we realize there's a heightened sense of awareness, and we want to ride that momentum, so to speak, and it's time, I think our board has said, to go ahead and implement a longer-term plan. So our agency, besides exploring supplemental supplies, additional water supplies such as recycling, stream water diversion, sharing with Santa Cruz potentially, is looking at a plan that will be implemented this summer, late fall. We call it our water use reduction plan, and that is to help people reduce their water use by roughly about 10-15% overall. So these are low flow shower heads, about 1.5 gallons per minute. The typical shower uses about 2.5 gallons per minute, so they provide an effective shower with a lot less water. If you have a teenage son or daughter, or anybody who takes a long shower, typical shower is about 8 minutes. These are 5-minute timers. Put them on the side of the shower and try to give people at least a little signal, become more conscious. This little device, nifty device, somebody recently wrote an editorial about it in the paper. You put it in line with your shower head, and you can cut it off with a flip of a switch as you lather up. I remember my dad walking around the yard with a crimped hose and then letting water run everywhere or washing the car. Those days are gone. Everybody should use a positive shut-off nozzle like this. Your meter, this is what your water flows through and registers how much you use. Almost all meters have a little device on them that in the middle or on the side that will turn very rapidly if you have a leak, so you can always go out and look at that. And almost all agencies offer a host of rebates. This is our rebate cards, make it very cost effective to upgrade your devices. You know, clothes washers are a big one. The front loaders use about half the water as a typical older washer. Uses a lot less energy too.
So, years of drought have led to our pending forced conservation. Cuts to water use to do our share during a statewide emergency. Enough stress on our water supply to make it clear that beyond this year, Santa Cruz County will need to make some hard decisions and make some big investments to meet our water needs. It's also clear that we'll need to work together to adapt to our new low-flow future.
Santa Cruz also has a community that's very environmentally conscious. Santa Cruz and the Soquel area have some of the lowest per capita water use rates in the state, so people can really step up and do the conservation when it's needed.
The last drought back, late 80s, early 90s, I think there was 1 year of rationing. We asked for 25%, and I think we got something like almost 40.
Yeah.
So the customers are another big piece of keeping the demand down.
Santa Cruz is having problems. San Lorenzo's having problems. Soquel's got saltwater intrusion, different things happening in their wells. It's going to be a problem in this county if we don't get some rain.
Well, thank you for joining me for a look at our low-flow future. If you'd like more information about conserving water and saving money, call your water agency or log on to their website. I'm Romney Dunbar. So long for now.